Okay, welcome to week 4 of Crime Scenes to Conviction, critical skills in written and oral communication. And we are moving pretty fast this quarter. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, and so we're going to go right into reminding you that our lectures take place every Thursday, 8:30 to 9:30 roughly, or thereabouts, and that we have just, after this lecture, we'll have just 3 more left, week 6, week 8, and week 10. So now let's go through the announcement. Special communication challenges. This is one of my favorite modules in this course, week 4, because there's some hands-on things that you'll learn, particularly about Spanish, that we included in this module. It wasn't like this when I first started teaching this course, but we found a nice video that would help you, that we're going to share with you at the end. So your reading assignment is chapters 5 and 12 of written and interpersonal communication, and reported in writing, section 3. Also, we're going to deal with communication barriers in police work and hostage negotiation. And then we're going to look at the video, Spanish law enforcement commands. These are commands that are in Spanish that you probably want to become familiar with, because you're going to probably use these commands when you encounter individuals who don't speak any English, or say poquito habla inglés, speak a little Spanish, a little English rather. Well, mine, I say habla poquito en español, I speak a little Spanish. But I have enough that I can work with people, and that's what you really need to be able to do. And the reason why I say that is because one of the fastest growing populations in the United States is Hispanic. And in your work in law enforcement, corrections, or probation or parole, you're going to come into contact with Spanish-speaking people, and you want to at least have some working knowledge of being able to communicate with a Spanish-speaking person. Not to neglect other languages, but at the present time, there's a big focus on Spanish-speaking. So you have a discussion assignment. Sorry, I don't speak Spanish, and those of you who posted some really cogent initial posts on Tuesday night by 11:59 p.m., and then, of course, your reply posts are yet to come. They're due by this Saturday, day after tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then your written assignment, hostage. This is the one that I spoke about earlier, and the writing skills quiz. I'm going to come back to that hostage in a second. But then your mid-quarter student survey, we want you to take time. So let's kind of like go back and revisit my additional comments. Reminder that you are required to conduct research for this week for written assignment hostage. That means the sole source of your papers cannot be the textbooks. You'll lose 2 points. And then also include APA citations in the body of the paper and references at the end. And so it's very important that you do that. This is the one assignment in this course that you have to do this. And I've been talking about this since week 1. So let's look at our course calendar real quick here. Right down here. Okay, this is where we are. Your reading assignment, your initial post, your live lecture, and your reply post. And then due for the 30th, the last day of this month, is your written assignment hostage. You want to complete the writing post quiz. And then take the project introduction here. Is not necessarily an assignment. but it kind of introduces you to what you need to do to get up to speed, and we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. So just hold on here. Even I put it on the calendar anyway to remind you to be prepared, because it's coming. It is coming. Okay, so let's get to our week 4. And actually, in our assignments, you'll see that your initial post and reply post on "Sorry, I don't speak Spanish," then your hostage, it could be a 1 to 2 page report paper. Now, remember, if it's 1 page, make sure you have enough critical thinking, because a lot of students get hit with 1-page papers by putting too much information and not enough critical thinking. It's okay to do 1 page. You won't get docked if you do 1 page. But make sure that you have a good portion of critical thinking, and then you're going to follow the instructions that they tell you below. And then your writing skills quiz. So those are your written assignments. So the thing about the project, I'm going to show you that in a minute. So it's not an actual assignment that you have to do, but it is something that you'll want to focus in on in this module. Okay. At the end of this week, you should be able to communicate with people of other cultures. Remember, we talked about diversity at the beginning as one of our transferable skills. And so this is an opportunity for you to have an idea about how you are going to interact pretty much with Spanish-speaking people, but you can apply that across the board. Outline a strategy for communicating with people who are challenged in alcohol, hearing, or mental abilities. We're going to talk about that just a little. And then tactics for communicating with all parties in hostage situations. That's going to be your written assignment. Identify escalation and de-escalation techniques and critical incident techniques. And then grammar, of course, as always. And we've already talked about why that is important, and we're going to go into it even more in terms of accuracy. So once again, these are your assignments, your reading. We're going to cover these 3 topics in just a few minutes. Your discussion post, your written post, and your skills quiz, and then remind you to take the survey. Okay, so now, before we get to communication and that, let's make sure that you understand that and the reason why I'm trying to get ready for your course project is because in week 5, I'm just kind of jumping ahead to show you what I'm talking about. You will see your assignments in week 5 is the first actual assignment that you do for your written assignment. Very first one for your project. And you're going to prepare your own field notes. And then here's some sample field notes that shows you what they look like. If you click on this link, it shows you. But then your crime scene scenario. This is what you're going to need to get out of the crime scene scenario. These bullet points all need to be addressed in your field notes. And then you're going to submit those assignments to me by the end of that week. Now, that's not due now, but we're getting you ready for it to start to focus on it. And again, if somebody say, where's the scenario? You click on this, and it opens it in the form of a Word document. And I like to enable editing. So then this is the scenario. Your name, any combination of 2 numbers, your badge, you can make it up, agency, Lake City department. And then these are the circumstances that you're going to encounter. This is if you saw these things, and then you're going to write them up, because you're going to eventually reduce this same information to a draft, later on in week 7, I think it is, and then week 9 or 10. Anyway, this is what you're going to start out with, and these are excuse me, the facts that you're going to use. But your first exercise is preparing your field notes. So that's what we want you to be sure to do, okay? Let's take that down. Go back to assignments. Okay, so now that's in week 5. So let's go back to week 4 now. Again, the reason why I put in the calendar is to give you a heads up that it's coming up. And then you're going to be doing it in week 5. So, lesson content. Told you about the objectives. Oops. And there's the assignments again. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things here. So let's talk about communication barriers in police work. Now, a scenario is given to you that you're the correction officer at your local jail, and you have intake. That is, a new inmate's coming in, and you introduce yourself to the inmate, and the inmate is told to have a seat. And for some reason, she doesn't oblige you, so you ask her again. And so you have to determine what's the problem. And so you ask yourself these questions. Is the inmate being obstinate, or is there a communication barrier? And then there's a caution that before you make a judgment that the individual is being obstinate and it takes you to a higher level as an officer, you have to evaluate the entire situation to make sure that there's no legitimate barriers. So what barriers could there be? Maybe the person speaks another language. Maybe the person may be hearing impaired. Or maybe there is some mental disability that individual has. Or are they under the influence? But the bottom line, you have to be professional in terms of obtaining that information. You don't want to go over, for example, and after you've told them twice to take a seat, is force them into the seat. That is not a good move. And you need to be sensitive to the individual and then communicate with that individual and not show frustration. When you show frustration, you're creating yourself an unprofessional approach for that individual. You won't be able to get the information that you want, and it makes for an unpleasant experience. So now, if you determine that that individual doesn't speak the same language as you, then you'll have to determine what language is that they're speaking. It could be Spanish. I've been around people that speak Spanish, and I can tell they're very fast, but sometimes you have to slow them down a little bit, and then get your working knowledge of Spanish into that person. On the other hand, I've been around people who were Polish or Slavic language, and or Russian or something along those lines, and they spoke a language that I didn't understand at all. But the point of the matter is that I still maintain the posture of body language, trying to let them know that though I didn't understand what they were saying, if I shirk my shoulders like this, generally that's a way to send, no, understand, and then, the kind of thing that you do. But the key thing is keep the ability to be able to have that person to open up. So what you do is you're going to seek out some help from someone, a coworker, it says, or officer who can interpret. Now, if you're in the field, now here's the deal that I'm going to talk about. It says most officers rely on family members, neighbors, and so on to assist with interpretation. I'm kind of opposed to that, and the reason why I'm opposed to that is because of the fact that you don't know what they're saying to each other. You don't know if there's something they're doing to cause that person to shut up or not to pass information on to you, or you don't know if they're not only covering up, but that it's not going to be beneficial to you because you don't know what they're saying. you're going to have to rely on them as being credible in terms of providing the information. So I would suspect that in a scenario where you're dealing with a victim, family members might be good or neighbors. But if you're dealing with a suspect, no, never. Or a potential suspect, or you're dealing with someone who's acting kind of, as if they might have known more than they provide. For example, one of the things, let's say, for example, if you're in a scenario and you answer a call to an area where there was a shooting that took place and it's gang related, trying to get information out of people in the neighborhood, family members and neighbors, is oftentimes not going to come very easy, and they're not going to tell on people because of possible repercussions, because they still have to stay in that neighborhood after you leave. So you have to stop and be sensitive to those kinds of situations. So you need to be aware that that second choice depends on the circumstances. On the other hand, if the inmate is hearing impaired or deaf, try some other means of communication, such as your sign language. Now, some people understand a little bit of signing. I did. There was a book called The Joy of Signing, which I used to study some years ago. But I learned my signs little at a time from being around people. And, for example, I introduced myself and said that I was a minister. And so I learned that this right here meant minister, pastor, or something. But you have to be careful, because if you put it up here, it's cutting throats. So you have to make sure you put it in the right way. The point of the matter is that if you make the wrong sign to that person, you may not even intend on it, But you also should be aware that, shaking your head, nodding side to side, or shirking your shoulders, or making a symbol like okay. A lot of times people understand those kinds of things. So it says you could use different communication tools. You know what I don't like about some of these tools that people use, apps and stuff like that, is it breaks the personal contact that you have with that individual. And you can get information, but it slows you down in terms of what you end up getting. So I'm kind of opposed to those kind of things. On the other hand, finally, if the inmate is mentally ill or under the influence, the last thing you want to do is agitate them. They're frustrated if they are mentally ill because no one communicates with them or relates to the person that the guard or the correction officer or whomever is asking the questions, they're frustrating the individual. And when you frustrate somebody, you don't get answers as readily as if you are cooperative or they cooperate with you. If they're under influence, then that means they're not going to have the capacity for any given information that would be valuable to you in most cases. So what we encourage you to do is to do what this section here says: be calm and direct. And don't be very complicated with your questions. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to multiple question thing. You're not in a court of law. You're not cross-examining. You're investigating and trying to gather information that you need for whatever it is that you're doing. Be patient. Take your time. Don't rush the situation. Don't show frustration. It says use open-ended questions. These are questions that do not pose a yes or no response. You ask a person a question like, was the color of the car red? And they'll say yes. Well, could you tell me the color of the car? Is an open-ended question. And then they say, well, the color of the car was red. Well, that's open-ended because you're allowing them to provide the information. You didn't suggest information to them with the question, was the car red? Because then that's closed in. Be clear and concise. And I said already, avoid complicated directions. And above all, maintain eye contact. I talked about this in week 2. Very important that you maintain eye contact, because the eyes, for example, just like right now, it looks like I'm looking at you guys while I'm looking at the camera. That's like, for example, news media people, they have a red light like the one I have here, which tells me to look into the lens. Well, when I look away and look down and start reading, then I'm not really doing that. Or if I'm looking to other parts or looking at my materials and notes, then I'm not looking. But the key is to maintain eye contact with the individual, because you can draw that individual in, you can get a sense of where that person is, and it opens up your ability to communicate with them much better than if you don't have that. Okay? So now, before we get to the video, I want to talk about hostage situations. Now, when you find yourself in a hostage negotiation, what do? The last thing you want to do is to escalate the situation. It is a very stressful event, and probably one of the most stressful events you'll ever face, because of the fact that, remember, you have a person who is probably innocent and could be hurt by the person who took the person hostage. And so you need to be able to have really good communication skills to be able to de-escalate a hostage situation. So some ideas that we share with you is don't be fretful. It says, because don't worry about this, because you're going to receive a lot of training. The departments want to prepare you to save the life of the individual who's in hostage, and oftentimes the person who is the hostage itself. Comparable to the hostage situation is the person who wants to commit suicide. You'll have to deal with those kind of situations, but you use almost some of the same techniques. So when you begin in your department, agency, police, or either corrections, you will learn the basics in the future. So don't worry about them. But just some tips here. There'll be policies and procedures that your department has, and you want to make sure that you follow those policies. Well, that's in everything, but especially in hostage situations. And the reason why those policies and procedures are in place, because it is proven by the fact that they provided them to help you to de-escalate a situation and to come out with the best possible outcome under the circumstances. So you want to make sure that you know them very well. I know when I was in law enforcement, I attended seminars, and we had role-playing events where you had a chance to actually try. Somebody was a hostage, someone was the police officer or the police team, and you had to do it. One of the things you don't do is bombard a series of questions at people, and you don't have too many people talking at the same time. So many departments have specialized units, but you have to remember that you, as a first responder, might be placed in a scenario before they get there where you have to maintain the status quo, or sometimes you can do things to de-escalate. Don't go outside of the area that you are trained to operate in and that the department is designated for you to do. So you want to make sure that you follow those situations. And as it says here, it says you will more than likely be replaced on the site once the team arrives. So, but you don't want to replace the team with your actions, or either make it moot, so that by the time they get there, there's nothing for them to be there because you've already messed it up. The key thing is to try to preserve as much as possible. And so whenever you're dealing with a hostage taker, as I said, remember calmness is critical. Very, very, don't get upset, because the because they take it personally and will escalate that individual and cause them to take steps that you don't want them to take. Focus on the situation at hand. Don't multitask. Don't try to, like I said again, be cute with it. Try to find out what the deal is the hostage taker wants. What do they want? Now, you only find that for information now and why they're doing this. You'll oftentimes, get it, talking to the individual. And the individual will share with you what's brought them to this point. They're at the end of their rope. I've seen situations where people who were at the end of, they lost their job, for example, and they feel like they're no longer of value to their family. They will want to kill their family so that not they don't have to support them, but they feel like they're useless, so they said we'd be better off dead than alive, and people will take those steps to try to cause that to happen. So what you want to do is present in the most possible light, positive light, the situation to help those individuals. Showing interest in what the person is saying. Genuine, not patronizing. Empathize with that individual. And, don't say, I heard said, oh yeah, I understand your situation. I've been in your situation. Don't say that, because you're the police, okay? You're law enforcement. Don't say that. That actually sets off an individual really, really, really fast. So try to refrain from using those kind of things. Assure, though, the hostage taker that you are considering their demands, but don't make promises, false promises especially. Sometimes the hostage taker is making money demands or transportation demands, or they're saying things like, if you don't leave, I'm going to do thus and so forth. Well, you don't want to leave. You do not want to leave. But what you want to do is try to redirect that individual in the most positive way. Well, again, the professional team will know how to counter that, because that's part of the techniques and tactics that you're taught in training. And finally, on this topic, use the FBI website, http://www.fbi.gov, and there's some very useful information in the law enforcement bulletin, and it gives you some ideas, some articles on negotiation skills, role playing, and other relevant communication techniques to use during hostage negotiations and hostage situations. So again, be sure that when you complete your assignment that you've done the research, you can use that, but you'll find so much information out there and to help you to get a clear understanding. Just remember this. This exercise in hostage negotiation is something that, particularly if you're going to be corrections, you're going to run across it in corrections, for sure. You could run across it in law enforcement, of course. But those are the two main areas where I think you'll run across it. Probation and parole, you don't run across it so much because that's more administrative type stuff. But you know what I'm saying is that the situation dealing in the prison or in the jail can lend itself to the necessity for hostage negotiations often. And of course, on the streets, the same thing. So that's all I'm going to share with you now on that. So now let's look at this video. And it lasts about 26 minutes. So it's going to pretty much take the bulk of our time. But I do want to tell you that pay attention to the things that you'll see here, and make a note of some of these things. You can say them back to yourself, and it's very, 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 very good, because this is Spanish that gives you phrases, commands that will help you to perform in law enforcement when you come into contact with a Spanish-speaking person and you don't speak Spanish. So let's give you a look at this.
Some parts of this country are like a foreign land. English is a second language. And for cops who speak only English, that can be a major problem. America's Hispanic population is growing at an enormous rate, and it's bringing with it a major problem for law enforcement. Hello, I'm Ron Barber.
And I'm John Marsh. That problem is language. Many of our newer Hispanic residents speak little or no English, so if there is a confrontation, it would serve the officer well to know some basic Spanish.
That's what this video is designed to do, help you, the officer, better communicate with Spanish-speaking people. One of our guides on this journey is Officer Brandy Walker.
Hi, I'm Officer Brandy Walker with the St. Louis Police Department. You'll find that learning some very simple Spanish commands is one of the easiest things ever done. Here we go.
Our first lesson involves some very basic words to get you started.
¿Quién?
Who?
¿Quién?
What?
¿Qué?
What?
¿Qué?
Where?
¿Dónde?
Where?
¿Dónde?
When?
¿Cuándo?
When?
¿Cuándo?
Why?
¿Por qué?
Why?
¿Por qué?
Wrong.
Incorrecto.
Wrong.
Incorrecto.
Right.
Correcto.
Right.
Correcto. ¿Quién? ¿Qué? ¿Dónde? ¿Cuándo? ¿Por qué? Incorrecto. Correcto.
Justo Herrera is a veteran teacher of high school and college Spanish. He likes the idea of officers learning the basics.
I think these lessons are very valuable because, first of all, they make the officer very comfortable in dealing with the Hispanic public, and it will make the people comfortable in being approached by an officer that can speak their own language.
So in a sense, this is just as valuable for the public as it would be for the officer himself.
It is so.
Do you have any tricks that you might give those watching this video to help them, assist them in learning the Spanish language and the words that we have here?
I would suggest that they watch the video several times, making the necessary repetitions. Then they can read the printed material and repeat the phrases until they feel comfortable with them. And then especially try them every time they find an opportunity.
Officers are there to help. These words should be helpful in an emergency. Stop.
Alto.
Stop.
Alto.
Police.
Policía.
Police.
Policía.
I'm a police officer.
Soy un policía.
I'm a police officer.
Soy un policía.
I am here to help.
Estoy aquí para ayudar.
I am here to help.
Estoy aquí para ayudar.
Please.
Por favor.
Please.
Por favor.
Write it.
Escríbalo.
Write it.
Escríbalo.
Do you have identification?
¿Tiene usted identificación?
Do you have identification?
¿Tiene usted identificación?
Do you understand?
¿Comprende?
Do you understand?
¿Comprende? Alto. Policía. Soy un policía. Estoy aquí para ayudar. Por favor, escríbalo. ¿Tiene usted identificación? ¿Comprende?
These words should be helpful in an emergency. Help.
Ayuda.
Help.
Ayuda.
Hurt.
Herido.
Hurt.
Herido.
Are you hurt?
¿Está herido?
Are you hurt?
¿Está herido?
Hospital.
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 Ambulance.
Ambulancia.
Ambulance.
Ambulancia.
An ambulance is on the way.
La ambulancia viene.
An ambulance is on the way.
La ambulancia viene.
What happened?
¿Qué pasó?
What happened?
¿Qué pasó?
Now.
Ahora.
Now.
Ahora.
Do you need help?
¿Necesita ayuda?
Do you need help?
¿Necesita ayuda?
Are you sick?
¿Está enfermo?
Are you sick?
¿Está enfermo? Ayuda. Herido. ¿Está herido? Hospital. Ambulancia. La ambulancia viene. ¿Qué pasó? Ahora. ¿Necesita ayuda? ¿Está enfermo?
Following words are words of greeting and reassurance. Good morning.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Good afternoon.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Buenas tardes.
Good evening.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Buenas noches.
You.
Usted.
You.
Usted.
Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
Sí.
No.
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 Car.
Carro.
Car.
Carro.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Don't worry.
No se preocupe.
Don't worry.
No se preocupe.
Calm down.
Cálmese.
Calm down.
Cálmese.
Get out of the car.
Salga del carro.
Get out of the car.
Salga del carro.
Get into the car.
Entre al carro.
Get into the car.
Entre al carro. Buenos días. Buenas tardes. Buenas noches. Usted. Sí. No. Carro. Gracias. No se preocupe. Cálmese. Salga del carro. Entre al carro.
Gathering information is essential. This lesson will help you gather the basics. What is your name?
¿Cómo se llama?
What is your name?
¿Cómo se llama?
Do you speak English?
¿Habla inglés?
Do you speak English?
¿Habla inglés?
Write your name.
Escriba su nombre.
Write your name.
Escriba su nombre.
Where do you live?
¿Dónde vive?
Where do you live?
¿Dónde vive?
Write your address.
Escriba su dirección.
Write your address.
Escriba su dirección.
Sit down.
Siéntese.
Sit down.
Siéntese.
Come here.
Venga aquí.
Come here.
Venga aquí.
Turn around.
Voltéese.
Turn around.
Voltéese.
Do you want to make a phone call?
¿Quiere llamar por teléfono?
Do you want to make a telephone call?
¿Quiere llamar por teléfono? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Habla inglés? Escriba su nombre. ¿Dónde vive? Escriba su dirección. Siéntese. Venga aquí. Voltéese. ¿Quiere llamar por teléfono?
The traffic stop. Some basic commands and phrases here. Turn off the motor.
Apague el motor.
Turn off the motor.
Apague el motor.
Your driver's license, please.
Su licencia, por favor.
Your driver's license, please.
Su licencia, por favor.
Your car registration, please.
Su matrícula del carro, por favor.
Your car registration, please.
Su matrícula del carro, por favor.
Wait here.
Espere aquí.
Wait here.
Espere aquí.
The insurance card for your car.
La tarjeta de seguro para su carro.
The insurance card for your car.
La tarjeta de seguro para su carro.
The insurance card for the hospital.
La tarjeta de seguro para el hospital.
The insurance card for the hospital.
La tarjeta de seguro para el hospital.
This is a ticket.
Esto es una multa.
This is a ticket.
Esto es una multa. Apague el motor. Su licencia, por favor. Su matrícula del carro, por favor. Espere aquí. La tarjeta de seguro para su carro. La tarjeta de seguro para el hospital. Esto es una multa.
Basic commands here in Lesson 7. If you feel an arrest is probable.
Don't move. No se mueva.
Don't move.
No se mueva.
On the ground, face down.
En el suelo, boca abajo.
On the ground, face down.
En el suelo, boca abajo.
Spread your feet.
Abra sus pies.
Spread your feet.
Abra sus pies.
You are under arrest.
Está arrestado.
You are under arrest.
Está arrestado.
You are not under arrest.
No está arrestado.
You are not under arrest.
No está arrestado.
Let me see your hands.
Déjeme ver sus manos.
Let me see your hands.
Déjeme ver sus manos. No se mueva. En el suelo, boca abajo. Abra sus pies. Está arrestado. No está arrestado. Déjeme ver sus manos.
Lesson 8. Some basics and important questions. Have you had any alcohol to drink today?
¿Ha bebido alcohol hoy?
Have you had any alcohol to drink today?
¿Ha bebido alcohol hoy?
Have you had any alcohol to drink tonight?
¿Ha bebido alcohol esta noche?
Have you had any alcohol to drink tonight?
¿Ha bebido alcohol esta noche?
Have you had any drugs today?
¿Ha usado drogas hoy?
Have you had any drugs today?
¿Ha usado drogas hoy?
Do you have a weapon?
¿Tiene un arma?
Do you have a weapon?
¿Tiene un arma?
Put the weapon on the ground.
Ponga el arma en el suelo.
Put the weapon on the ground.
Ponga el arma en el suelo.
Will you allow me to search your vehicle?
¿Me deja buscar en su carro?
Will you allow me to search your vehicle?
¿Me deja buscar en su carro? ¿Ha bebido alcohol hoy? ¿Ha bebido alcohol esta noche? ¿Ha usado drogas hoy? ¿Tiene un arma? Ponga el arma en el suelo. ¿Me deja buscar en su carro?
Lesson 9. More questions related to the stop. Where are you going?
¿A dónde va?
Where are you going?
¿A dónde va?
Where are you coming from?
¿De dónde viene?
Where are you coming from?
¿De dónde viene?
Do you have any weapons or needles?
¿Tiene algún arma o agujas?
Do you have any weapons or needles?
¿Tiene algún arma o agujas?
Or are there any weapons or drugs in your vehicle?
¿Hay armas o agujas en su carro?
Are there any weapons or drugs in your vehicle?
¿Hay armas o agujas en su carro?
I need to handcuff you for your protection and mine.
Tengo que ponerle las esposas para su protección y la mía.
I need to handcuff you for your protection and mine.
Tengo que ponerle las esposas para su protección y la mía. ¿A dónde va? ¿De dónde viene? ¿Tiene algún arma o agujas? ¿Hay armas o agujas en su carro? Tengo que ponerle las esposas para su protección y la mía.
Number 10, keywords and phrases to remember. Stop.
Alto. Stop. Alto.
Get out of the car.
Salga del carro.
Get out of the car.
Salga del carro.
Do you speak English?
¿Habla inglés?
Do you speak English?
¿Habla inglés?
What is your name?
¿Cómo se llama?
What is your name?
¿Cómo se llama?
Are you hurt?
¿Está herido?
Are you hurt?
¿Está herido?
Do you need help?
¿Necesita ayuda?
Do you need help?
¿Necesita ayuda?
Calm down.
Cálmese.
Calm down.
Cálmese.
Don't worry.
No se preocupe.
Don't worry.
No se preocupe.
Let me see your hands.
Déjeme ver sus manos.
Let me see your hands.
Déjeme ver sus manos.
Wait here.
Espere aquí.
Wait here.
Espere aquí.
You are under arrest.
Está arrestado.
You are under arrest.
Está arrestado.
You are not under arrest.
No está arrestado.
You are not under arrest.
No está arrestado. Alto. Salga del carro. ¿Habla inglés? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Está herido? ¿Necesita ayuda? Cálmese. No se preocupe. Déjeme ver sus manos. Espere aquí. Está arrestado. No está arrestado.
Practice does make perfect, and that's what learning a new language is all about, practicing and repetition. Good luck.
Do you have any thoughts on learning some simple Spanish commands? Please share them with us. Our email address is lineofduty@aol.com. Our World Wide Web address, lineofduty.com. I'm Ron Barber.
And I'm Don Marsh.
Okay, so that was a very good bit of information, and you should find that very valuable to be able to use. And many students have commented that that has helped them a whole lot. So anyway, that's about all I have for tonight. I've already guided you into next week's assignment and be able to get those completed. So again, if there are any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me. You know how to reach out to me. I've given you instructions about that, and I'll be more than happy to assist you and to clarify anything. I do wish, though, that more of you would come to the lecture. Last week I had one student. There are some things that I'd like to do, but I can't do them when I just have one student coming. And many of you don't come because of the fact that it's not required. But coming down the road, I'm told in the future that's going to be changing, which I think will be a good thing, because the lectures help you to be able to have something clarified that you read or will be reading or studying, and also clarifying the instructions for assignments, and then you can ask questions in real time, and then other students can benefit from it as well. So anyway, I'll continue on recording and then send you the lecture. The next one will be week 6, and that'll be the 9th, I believe, of May, rather. I think that's correct. So any, no, not the 9th. Keep saying the 9th. That's a Tuesday. I think it is May the 11th. Yeah, it is. May 11th is when our next lecture takes place, not May 9th. I was thinking about my other lecture. So anyway, I'm going to say good night to you.